She said it like she was ordering a latte. I'm taking the kids, full custody. No flinch, no tears, no hesitation. Just paperwork in hand and eyes that said this was already over. I stood there in the doorway, my son's Spider-Man backpack still slung over my shoulder, my daughter's juice box half crushed in my hand. I didn't ask why. I didn't scream or beg. I didn't even set the bags down. Claire stood in the center of the living room like a damn spokesperson for moral superiority, arms folded, wearing one of those soft beige sweaters that Instagram moms live in, like she was auditioning for custody in front of a Pinterest board. Are we doing this here? I asked, my voice flatter than even I expected. My heart was racing, but my face knew better. She nodded slowly. I've already spoken to a lawyer. You'll get to see them, supervised, of course. That's when I really looked at her, and for the first time in years, I saw the version of Claire that didn't blink before taking a scalpel to someone's life and calling it self-care. Not the woman I married, the woman she rehearsed being when she didn't think I was watching. And you think that'll go smoothly? I asked. Her lips curled into this patronizing smile. Michael, you've been distant, checked out, you know that. Right, I said, nodding slowly. Let's do it properly then. That's when she blinked, just once, just enough, because she thought that was surrender. She didn't know the drive under my bed held nearly 6 months of quiet documentation, organized by date, time, and room. She didn't know the cameras I installed were voice-activated, that the footage backed itself up remotely, that I'd started this the day she forgot to pick up Ava from pre-K because she was at a retreat in Santa Barbara with her yoga group, except the yoga instructor, Logan, showed up in her tagged photo wearing a hotel wristband. She thought she was the only one who'd been planning. I didn't respond to her smirk. I didn't toss the backpack or drop the juice box. I just walked upstairs and started packing my overnight bag. She followed me, arms crossed like she was in court already. Where are you going? You can't just... You said full custody, I said. We should start treating this like a custody dispute. I'll stay at a hotel. She tried to pivot. Michael, the kids don't need to see their father bailing. Then don't say things you're not ready to follow through on, I cut in, zipping the bag. Silence. She waited for a fight. Something dramatic, an emotional plea she could quote later. Instead, I held up the baby monitor and said, I'll leave this with you. It's charged. I walked out without slamming the door. Didn't even close it all the way. There was no performance to give her. I wasn't on trial yet. And if you're listening to this right now, more than 97% of you haven't subscribed. It only takes a second, and it genuinely helps the team keep going. So if you want more stories like this one, hit that button. Back to Claire. She had no idea I'd already emailed my lawyer 2 nights ago after I found the half-written custody modification form in her drafts. No idea I'd made notes on the days she left the toddler in the car for just 5 minutes while she got her nails done, or that I'd compiled the audio clip of her yelling at the nanny for feeding the kids cereal with dye in it because Michael lets them eat garbage, while her own lunch bag had hot Cheetos and 2 Diet Cokes. She had no idea the nanny had started documenting too, that she'd slipped me a flash drive one evening after noticing Claire never looked at the baby monitor footage, even when Ava fell off the couch and cried for 7 minutes before anyone noticed. This wasn't a custody battle anymore. This was a forensic audit. And Claire? She just rang the opening bell. Claire's lawyer's office looks like someone ordered a feminist Pinterest board and slapped it onto drywall. Soft lighting, abstract canvas prints, a bowl of decorative stones that probably cost more than my monthly grocery bill. Claire sits across from him, legs crossed, voice sweetly firm like she's the one doing me a favor by suing for custody. She's been the primary caregiver, the lawyer says, not even blinking. He doesn't ask for evidence because Claire didn't bring any, just vague references to me being emotionally unavailable and detached as a parent. She smiles as she says it, like she's describing a badly reviewed Airbnb. What about the father's involvement in day-to-day activities? He asks, more like a formality. Claire waves her hand. He works all the time. I do everything. I wonder if that includes the Thursday night she left the baby in the playpen with no food while she took a nap that lasted 3 hours. I'd have woken her, but I wasn't home. I was watching from the hotel room. Remote access, night vision lens. I'd labeled the clip. March 2nd, 23, vertical bar, unattended, vertical bar, 187 minutes. Meanwhile, 20 minutes across town, I'm sitting across from a man named Perry who doesn't blink much and doesn't believe in small talk. His office is clinical, lined with law books and awards that look like they could draw blood if dropped. He gestures to the chair, and I hand him a hard drive. It's all on here, I say. From last August till about 3 weeks ago, the nanny cam resets every 4 months, but I mirrored the footage to cloud backups. He plugs it in. Folders by month, subfolders by room, nursery, kitchen, playroom, hallway, Claire's office, every one time-stamped, cataloged, labeled with notes, nothing dramatic, just patterns, kids being left alone, unattended baths, slurred speech at 2 p.m. days, missed pickups, food left out overnight, crying kids in the background of Claire's FaceTime sessions. Perry starts clicking, his eyes narrow. She know you've got this? No, she thinks I'm passive. Checked out. Good. He clicks a few more files, then leans back. Let's build a timeline. We go piece by piece. He watches a clip of Claire yelling at our son for spilling juice. Then, 20 seconds later, slapping the cup off the counter. This will be hard to refute, Perry mutters, especially when it's a pattern. Judges don't like occasional misconduct, but consistent neglect, that's another story. Exactly. He clicks into another folder. March 17th. Claire coming home tipsy, calling me a deadbeat while the toddler sits half naked on the hardwood floor beside a dog bowl. I labeled that one midday rant vertical bar exposed outlet in frame. Perry doesn't flinch. We'll lead soft, show just enough for the judge to ask questions. Then we drop the rest. I nod. I didn't come here to destroy her. I came here to expose her. And there's a difference. She's asking for supervised visitation for you, Perry says, almost smirking. That's bold. She thinks she's bulletproof. Then let's remind her that glass shatters. We start drafting timelines, exhibit lists, context narratives, statements from the nanny, notes from Ava's preschool teacher, who mentioned more than once how often Claire's emergency pickups involved sunglasses and stale perfume. I kept the email, labeled Pattern Corroboration. Claire, I imagine, is sipping coffee with her lawyer right now, discussing how my disinterest makes me unfit for overnight visits. Her idea of proof is probably a couple of Instagram captions about doing it all. But here's the thing about facts. They don't need filters. And mine have timestamps. Claire's Instagram story begins with a soft focus shot of the kids coloring at the kitchen table, filtered, of course, like everything she does. The caption reads, "Doing what's best for them, even when it breaks you. #mom strength, #protect your peace." The next slide is a boomerang of her holding our daughter in one arm and a glass of wine in the other, shot at just the right angle so you can't see the half-eaten takeout boxes on the counter or the iPad propped up behind them, raising the kids while she plays martyr. She writes, "Some people only show up when there's an audience. Others, we never stop." The story gets over 300 likes in an hour. Her college friends drop comments like, "You're such a good mom, and they're lucky to have you." One of her yoga friends replies, "Girl, don't let him gaslight you." Her sister shares it and adds, "Some men are just born detached." I don't respond, not publicly, not privately. I've seen this show before. She's performing the noble single mother act like it's a TED Talk, framing me as the cold, distant figure standing in the shadows of her self-sacrifice. And the sad part, most of them believe it, because she's good at it. She knows how to play vulnerable without ever admitting fault, knows how to weaponize soft words with sharp edges. Meanwhile, I'm at the park with the kids. I document the drop-off, 3:02 p.m., snap a photo of the timestamp on the daycare logbook. I don't post it, I just store it, tag it, back it up. When I pick them up, I record a brief voice memo. Ava says mom forgot to pack her lunch again, shared with her brother. No emotion in my tone, just data, evidence. The babysitter texts me a photo later that night of Claire passed out on the couch at 6:40 p.m. Kids in front of the TV. Same show they were watching last week when I came by unannounced and saw the front door open, Claire upstairs on a video call, and both kids completely unsupervised. I label it passive neglect vertical bar recurrent behavior. That weekend, I take the kids to a small local museum. Nothing flashy, just a quiet day of holding hands, answering questions about dinosaurs, and making sure no one gets lost. Ava draws a picture of the three of us under a sun with smiling faces. She hands it to me and says, "Daddy, I like it better when it's your day." I scan it when we get home. Label, emotional feedback vertical bar, child volition. And still, Claire keeps pushing. She files an updated affidavit claiming I've been emotionally absent and that the children express discomfort around me. This, despite the court-appointed therapist, her therapist, recommending joint custody based on interviews with both children, the nanny, and school staff. The report reads, no indicators of emotional distress present with either parent. Father exhibits consistent and measured engagement. Mother shows signs of stress-related volatility. Recommendation, shared custody with emphasis on structured transitions. Claire's response? She fires the therapist, says the woman doesn't understand the dynamic and is biased toward men. My lawyer says not to react, so I don't. But behind the scenes, I request the therapist's credentials, notes, and session summaries, all logged, all admissible, all dated. I even find out that Claire tried to pressure the therapist into writing a stronger recommendation by threatening to go to the licensing board. That, too, was documented by the therapist herself. Cracks are forming. They haven't split her world yet, but they're crawling beneath the surface, silent and patient. She posts a photo of the kids sleeping on her lap with a caption that says, "They're my whole world. I'd give anything to protect them." Right below it, in real life, I watch a camera feed of her walking out the door at 9:16 p.m. to meet someone in a gray BMW that's waited 2 blocks away every Thursday for a month. She comes back at 11:47 p.m. The sitter logs the time. The kids never knew she left, but I did, and so will the judge. Perry doesn't speak much when he works, just clicks and drags, adjusts audio levels, rewinds, takes notes. He's surgical about it, like a man dissecting truth from illusion. And Claire had made it easy by forgetting she was ever being watched. We start categorizing the footage into buckets: neglect, impairment, verbal instability, unattended minors. We aren't looking for drama, not screaming matches or bruises, just consistent, quiet failure. That's all the court needs. February 6th, Perry says, opening a file labeled car seat, unsecured. The footage shows Claire loading our son into her SUV. She gets distracted mid-buckle, phone call from someone named Ian, and closes the door without strapping him in. The entire ride, you can see him climbing in and out of the booster like a jungle gym. The timestamp? 2:17 p.m., preschool pickup. The next file is worse. March 21st, 3:14 p.m. Claire slurs through a voicemail to her friend. I can't do everything, you know? Her lipstick is smudged, hair pulled back in a rat's nest of half-hearted effort. She laughs at something the friend says, then looks back toward the playpen. Our daughter is holding an empty baby bottle upside down, trying to drink from it. Claire doesn't notice. "No edits?" Perry asks, glancing at me. "Nope, straight from the archive. Backup drive confirms it." He nods and drops it into the folder. Impairment, midweek. Then he opens the hallway cam labeled April 3rd. This one's subtle. No yelling, no dramatic moment, just Claire pacing with her phone tucked between shoulder and cheek, talking to someone about how exhausting it is to be the only one who cares. Meanwhile, the toddler is at the bottom of the stairs, sobbing for 6 minutes. Claire walks by 3 times, never bends down, doesn't even glance. Perry pauses, rewinds. "I want to try something," he says. He layers the footage with a transcript overlay, syncing every word she says with the audio. Then he timestamps the child's cries by decibel level. It's brutal. Claire's voice gets louder. The toddler's does too. At minute 4, Claire says, "God, they're just so needy lately." She's talking about the kids, to her best friend, who laughs. "That'll play badly," Perry mutters, dragging it into verbal instability. We build a chain of evidence from August through April. No explosions, just cold, repetitive proof, like slow water carving out rock. She leaves the stove burner on while on a call with her sister, December 12th. Toddler inches toward it. Claire's on her laptop. Doesn't look up. She locks herself in the bathroom with a glass of wine at 10:32 a.m., January 19th. Ava knocks 3 times. No answer. Just the sound of a FaceTime call starting. May 3rd, she falls asleep on the couch with earbuds in. The baby monitor lights up. Ava crying after wetting the bed. She doesn't stir. Not for 39 minutes. Perry watches in silence, then simply says, This is more than enough." But he's wrong, because it wasn't just footage, it was corroboration. We pair each clip with text messages she sent while the footage was rolling, proving she was awake, active, and ignoring what was happening. We gather testimony from the nanny, who noticed frequent periods of checked-out behavior, including one incident where she returned from yoga smelling like whiskey. We get a notarized letter from Ava's preschool teacher, expressing concern about Claire's pickups, late, distracted, sometimes hostile when questioned. One day she forgot Ava was there until another parent reminded her. Claire's narrative had been, "I'm the one holding everything together," but the footage didn't care what story she told. It showed something else. Not a monster, not abuse, just someone who wanted the title of mother without the job description. And suddenly the question wasn't whether she meant to be neglectful. It was how long we'd all let her get away with it. Claire's emergency motion hits like a thrown plate, loud, messy, and intended to wound. Filed late on a Thursday, just before the weekend court shutdown, it's packed with dramatic language, emotional manipulation, controlling behavior, unfit partner. She's playing her hand like a woman cornered, bluffing with a poker face she's convinced is bulletproof. Her lawyer attaches no new evidence, just Claire's own affidavit peppered with vague accusations and weaponized adjectives. "He always made me feel like I was losing my mind," she wrote. Funny, because I have footage, an entire year's worth, of her walking out of the house at odd hours, forgetting to pick up groceries and snapping at the kids like they were co-workers in a failing startup. And through it all, I didn't raise my voice. I didn't throw plates or slam doors. I filed away time-stamped truths while she created Instagram fables. Perry calls me the next morning. "Don't worry, let her talk. We've got everything we need." And we do. Because Claire forgot something critical. We went to couples therapy. Not long, just 6 sessions. Her idea. And she was the one who insisted on recording the sessions so she could review what I did wrong. She signed the consent form herself. The sessions were stored on the same cloud account she used for yoga photos. She never changed the password. We pull the second session, minute 22. Claire: "He's not even present. He's passive. Checked out. I feel like I'm talking to a wall." Therapist: "Do you feel unsafe?" Claire: "Unsafe? No, just alone. It's not damning. It's not supposed to be. It's neutral, flat." And it directly contradicts her affidavit where she claims she often feared for her safety. The motion hearing is scheduled fast. Monday afternoon, family courtroom, 1 judge, no jury. Claire arrives in ivory, soft makeup, a blouse that whispers vulnerability. Her lawyer is sharp, smug. He thinks the motion will tilt the entire custody process, reset the narrative. The judge reads the file with the same expression you'd give a child's attempt to forge a sick note. He adjusts his glasses. "Miss Callahan, you're asking the court to consider emergency limitations on the father's contact. Is that correct?" Claire nods solemnly. "Yes, Your Honor. I don't feel emotionally safe with him around the children. He's manipulative." The judge flips a page. "Your previous filings indicated he was absent and emotionally disengaged." Claire freezes just for a second, just long enough. "I've had time to reflect," she says, voice tight. "His behavior is more insidious, controlling. He hides it." Perry stands. "Your Honor, if I may respond, briefly." The judge nods. Perry clicks the monitor. The session plays. We kept it short, just the 90 seconds that mattered. Claire on the screen sits cross-legged in a gray sweater. She's calm, collected, expressive. "He's not dangerous. He's just passive, checked out. I don't think he cares." The therapist asks if she feels threatened. Claire says no. Present-day Claire squirms in her seat like the chair just grew teeth. The judge pauses the video. "So, Miss Callahan, what exactly are you afraid of?" Silence. Her lawyer fumbles for a response, but the judge raises his hand. "Your affidavit includes the phrase emotional terrorism. That's strong language." Claire stammers, I was trying to express the pressure I feel, the weight of doing it all alone." "You mean the passive, checked-out father who's manipulating you by not reacting?" More silence. "Motion denied," the judge says flatly. "Any future requests of this nature must include third-party documentation or direct evidence. Otherwise, they will be considered frivolous." Claire stares ahead, blinking like she's trying to reset a bad dream. Perry turns to me and whispers, "She thought fear was leverage. Turns out she forgot who had the receipts." The cracks have started. You can hear them in her silence. You can see them in the way she doesn't meet her lawyer's eyes. The mask she crafted so carefully for court, the concerned mother routine, it's slipping. And now, it's on record. Family courtroom 4B smells like old carpet and quiet consequences. It's the kind of place where people dress like they respect the law but hope it forgets what they did. Claire arrives first, early, in her armor of soft pink pastels, hair tied in that careful, effortless style, pearl studs, light makeup. She glides into the courtroom like it's a charity brunch and she's here to be pitied, not questioned. She takes her seat and places a tissue delicately on the table in front of her, just in case tears become part of the performance. Her lawyer nods to her, gives her hand a comforting pat, like he's prepping his prize witness. I walk in 7 minutes later. No tie, navy sport coat, folder under my arm, no theatrics. Perry, my lawyer, carries a slim black laptop under his arm. That's all. Claire's gaze flicks toward me, then away. She's expecting a fight. She still thinks we're here to argue narratives. We're not. "All rise," the bailiff says. The judge enters. a measured man, mid-50s, reads everything twice and never raises his voice. I like him already. Claire's lawyer starts. Your Honor, this is a custody matter. My client seeks full legal and physical custody of the children due to her role as primary caregiver and the emotional unreliability of the father. She has consistently provided stability, structure, and love. The judge holds up a hand. We've all read the filings. Let's proceed to evidentiary review. He glances at Perry. Mr. Brandt? Perry stands, smooth as an undertaker. Your Honor, with the court's permission, we'd like to present a short series of video clips documenting day-to-day behavior relevant to the custody determination. Claire straightens. For a brief moment, she still thinks this is nothing. Maybe a video of me being awkward with the kids. Maybe she thinks it'll embarrass me. Perry clicks the spacebar. Clip 1, August 9th. Claire screaming at the nanny. I don't pay you to question me, Jessica. Just shut up and do what I say. The baby cries in the background. Claire slams the front door as she storms out. Claire blinks. Clip 2, September 14th. Claire, 2:42 p.m., stumbling into the apartment, hair messy, barefoot, slurring. Where are they? I swear to God if that sitter left again. No one else is in frame. Just her, clutching her purse like it might float away. She doesn't notice the baby monitor's red recording light blinking quietly behind her. Claire swallows. Clip 3, October 3rd. The hallway cam. The baby sits alone in a diaper at the bottom of the stairs. No sound except distant phone conversation from upstairs. 21 minutes of uncut footage, accelerated only slightly to show duration. At the 18-minute mark, the child curls up on the step and starts to fall asleep. The judge raises his hand. Perry pauses the video. Miss Callahan, the judge says slowly, were you aware of these recordings? Claire's voice catches. I didn't know we were being recorded like that. Were these instances isolated? She opens her mouth, closes it. Her lawyer tries to interject. Your Honor, these clips don't show full context. Parenting is complex. The judge cuts him off. Do you dispute their authenticity? No, but then we'll proceed. Perry speaks again. There are 12 more clips, Your Honor. We won't need to show them unless necessary. A written summary and full digital log have been submitted to the court. Claire is pale now. She shifts in her chair. The tissue remains untouched. The judge turns toward me. Mr. Callahan, do you have anything to add? I shake my head. Only what's been shown. And what are you requesting? Joint custody, consistent structure. I'm not here to erase anyone, just to protect the kids. Claire flinches. The judge leans back, tapping the edge of his bench with a pen. Understood. Claire's lawyer looks like he aged 10 years in 5 minutes. His opening statement, this is a case about what's best for the children, echoes back like a bad joke. Because now the court has seen what best looked like under her watch. And suddenly, Claire isn't telling the story anymore. The footage is. Claire takes the stand like she's arriving at an audition, chin high, blouse carefully buttoned to just the right level of vulnerability. The court clerk swears her in, and for a second I catch her eyes scanning the room, like she's still hunting for sympathy, hoping someone will see the real her in all this. But the courtroom doesn't care how she looks in daylight. Not anymore. She adjusts the microphone and folds her hands neatly in her lap. Her lawyer gives a small nod, then leans back, already sweating under his collar. Perry stands slowly. No notes in his hand, just the remote. Good morning, Miss Callahan, he says, polite as always. Let's talk about March 17th. Claire blinks. Okay. You remember that date? She nods. Yes, it was a rough day. I had a lot going on. Perry presses a button on the clicker and the screen beside the judge lights up. A still image appears. Claire in the living room standing over our kids, her face twisted in mid-yell. One child is covering their ears. The other is crying. And sitting on the side table, unmistakable and full, is a large wine glass. Perry walks toward the bench, holding out a printed still. Is this you? Claire stares at the image. Yes, but... And these are your children? Yes, but I wasn't yelling at them. I was on the phone. Perry presses play. The courtroom fills with Claire's voice, shrieking, shrill, exhausted. It's not a single outburst. It's sustained. The kids' cries echo in the background as she rants into the phone. I'm not a damn babysitter. I didn't sign up for this alone. He's useless. There's a moment, clear as glass, where one of the kids tries to tug her sleeve. She jerks away and says, Not now. God, you always need something. She slams the phone down and takes a long drink from the wine glass. That part isn't shouted. It's quiet, matter of fact. She barely blinks. Then silence. The video ends. The judge exhales through his nose and taps his pen once, then twice. Claire leans toward the mic. Your Honor, I was under a lot of stress. I didn't know I was being recorded. I never meant to yell like that, and I wasn't drunk. Perry tilts his head. You're saying you were calm? No, I'm saying I was overwhelmed. Everyone has moments like that. Perry walks back to his seat. Understood. Just to clarify, you said earlier that Mr. Callahan is emotionally unsafe, correct? Claire pauses. Yes. And you said you provide a more stable environment for the children. Yes. Perry looks at the judge. Let's try another one. He plays a clip from March 19th. Claire outside on the phone again telling someone that Ava screams like a banshee for no reason, and that she sometimes wants to walk out the door and just never come back. The kids are playing in the background, quiet, well-behaved, nothing resembling banshees. When it ends, Perry doesn't speak. He lets the air settle. Claire's face flushes. That was a private call. The judge leans forward. Miss Callahan, do you understand what custody entails? It's not about who gets to win. It's about the capacity to provide a safe, emotionally stable environment for children. I do provide that, she snaps. Then, realizing her volume, she recoils. Let me remind you, the judge says, voice even, you're under oath, and you've now contradicted multiple earlier statements. Claire fidgets with the tissue she's finally decided to use. Perry steps forward again. No further questions. The judge turns to her lawyer. Redirect? The lawyer stammers. I think we'll reserve for later. The judge nods. Miss Callahan, you may step down. She walks back to her seat like she's wading through wet cement. Every word she built her case on, I'm the stable one. He's emotionally unfit. The children need me full time, just cracked beneath her. And she knows it. She doesn't cry. Not yet. Because crying would mean letting go of the script. And this courtroom, it doesn't care about scripts. It only watches the footage. The custody evaluator takes the stand like someone carrying a sealed verdict. Neutral blazer, clipboard balanced on her knee, voice trained for gravity. She doesn't make eye contact with either of us. Not because she's cold, but because this isn't about emotion. It's about patterns, data, stability, and Claire's about to find out what that sounds like when read aloud in public. The judge gives a small nod. You may begin. The evaluator clears her throat, her tone clipped and clinical. After interviewing both parents, the children, the primary nanny, school officials, and the assigned therapist, and reviewing submitted video and documentation, I've reached the following conclusions. Claire sits forward just slightly. Her lawyer leans over and whispers something, probably expecting a paragraph about maternal instinct and default custody. She doesn't hear what she wants. Both parents love the children, the evaluator says, her voice unwavering, but only one has consistently demonstrated safe, structured, sober, and responsive behavior in the home. Claire blinks hard. The evaluator doesn't stop. The mother has presented moments of deep engagement, yes, but also patterns of volatile emotional responses, impaired judgment, and inattentiveness that, while not rising to the level of endangerment, raise concern regarding sustained primary custody without oversight. Claire shoots a look at her lawyer now, sharp and panicked. He whispers again, a little quicker this time. She doesn't nod. She glares. The evaluator turns a page. By contrast, the father's engagement, while less emotive, is consistent, measured, and deeply attentive. All collateral sources, including school staff and childcare providers, describe him as calm, present, and detail-oriented. The silence in the courtroom is dense. Claire shifts in her seat again, arms crossed but not confident, defensive. Her fingers dig into the fabric of her blouse like she's bracing for impact. And your recommendation? The judge asks. Shared physical and legal custody, the evaluator replies, with alternating weeks, structured handoffs, and an optional therapeutic liaison if tensions between the parents persist. Claire's mouth opens, but nothing comes out. The judge nods and looks to Perry. Mr. Brandt, does your client have a response? Perry doesn't even stand. He looks at me. I shake my head once, just once. Then I rise, calm, button my jacket, step forward. I'm not requesting full custody, I say. I'm requesting shared. What she said, structured, balanced. I want what's best for the kids, nothing else. And I sit back down. The judge studies me, eyes narrowing just a bit, like he expected something more dramatic. But there's no performance here, no counterattack, no victory speech, just stillness. Claire's lawyer leans in and murmurs, "You could still fight for majority. Don't give this up." Claire doesn't respond. She just stares across the courtroom at me like she's seeing me clearly for the first time and realizing I've been watching everything while saying nothing. Because in her world, noise equals strength. In mine, silence is a loaded weapon. She built her case on narrative. She framed me as distant, emotionless, disengaged. But what she didn't understand was that restraint isn't weakness, it's patience. And now, the quiet man in the navy jacket, the one who never raised his voice, never posted rebuttals, never begged for sympathy, just calmly erased the version of me she tried to sell. The judge leans forward. "Thank you, Mr. Callahan. That will be noted." Claire folds her arms tighter. Her whole body closes in on itself. Because the one thing she counted on, control, is slipping. Not with a bang, not with fury, but with calm, surgical collapse. And there's nothing she can yell, post, or spin to stop it. The judge doesn't speak right away. He flips through a few final pages in his binder, marks something with a pen, and rests both hands on the desk. The room is still, except for the subtle hum of the ceiling fan and the dry click of his pen being set down. Claire sits like a statue, but I can see her leg bouncing under the table, her jaws tight, lips pursed, hands clenched in her lap so hard her knuckles have turned white. Her lawyer's trying not to show how nervous he is. He's failed her, and they both know it, but he's hoping for a soft landing. The judge lifts his eyes. "Miss Callahan," he begins, slow and deliberate, "your request for full legal and physical custody is denied." Claire stiffens. He turns. "Mr. Callahan, your request for shared custody is granted. As per the evaluator's recommendation, a rotating weekly schedule with structured exchanges will be implemented immediately. All details are outlined in the order before you." Claire opens her mouth, desperation bubbling up. "Your Honor." The judge raises a hand, calm but final. "No." She shuts her mouth. The courtroom feels colder now. The judge leans slightly forward, voice firm. "Let me be clear. This court has reviewed extensive documentation, both submitted and subpoenaed. The credibility of each parent was evaluated against evidence, not feelings, and while emotions are understandable in matters like these, misleading or exaggerated claims, especially those intended to manipulate custody, will not be tolerated." He lets that hang in the air for a full beat. Should either parent submit false claims, attempt to alienate the children, or otherwise interfere with shared custody, this court will reconsider the arrangement swiftly and without leniency. Claire looks down at the table. Not at the judge, not at me, just down. Like maybe if she stares hard enough, she'll wake up somewhere else. The bailiff walks over with 2 manila envelopes, one for her, one for me. Court orders, schedule, summary of judgment. Claire doesn't reach for hers, she just stares. The judge closes his folder. This hearing is concluded. The gavel doesn't slam. There's no thunder, just a quiet thud. Everyone stands. Perry taps my arm and whispers, "Let's go, don't linger." I nod and turn. As I walk past Claire, I glance over. She's not crying. That would have been human. She's hollow, dismantled. Because this wasn't just about custody. It was about power, control, public narrative, and she lost all of it. Not because I was louder, but because I had proof. Outside, the air is bright and noisy. Life hasn't noticed what just happened in that room. I feel the weight of the envelope in my hand, not heavy, but definitive. Claire walks out 10 minutes later, slower, alone, no audience, no curated story, no hashtag, just her, and a judgment she can't spin into a caption. Outside the courthouse, the sunlight feels surreal, too bright for what just happened inside. The kind of day that should be filled with ice cream and park swings, not verdicts and custody schedules. I'm standing on the steps, holding both kids' backpacks, Spider-Man and unicorn decals, worn straps, crumbs in the side pockets, the ordinary little details of a life she tried to rewrite without me. Ava spots me first. "Daddy!" She runs. Her brother follows. Their laughter cuts through the silence like a razor through fog. Claire steps out behind them, slow, careful, like her legs are still processing the fall. No makeup smears, no tears, but her eyes, those give it away. Not grief, not rage, defeat. She reaches for her daughter's hand, but Ava is already mid-story about a butterfly she saw at school. I kneel, listen, nod, hug them both. The judgment may be over, but parenting isn't. Claire stops 3 feet away, doesn't say anything. She opens her phone, maybe to distract herself. That's when it buzzes. She reads the text, freezes. I don't need to ask what it says. I'll find out later that it came from her father, the same man who once told me, "Whatever happens, don't hurt my daughter." The same man who offered to help cover preschool when Claire maxed out her third credit card on a retreat in Sedona. The message said, "What the hell were you thinking?" That's it. No sides, no rescue. Just one blunt question from a man who finally saw behind the filter. I load the kids into the car. Claire opens her mouth like she might say something, anything, but nothing comes out. She just stands there with her phone still lit, her father's message still burning a hole in her hand. Back at the house, it's calm. The kids are upstairs building something out of cardboard and permanent markers. I pour a glass of water and check my email. One new message from Perry. Subject, compliance notice, Claire Callahan. I open it, short and surgical. Per court's instruction, we will continue recording in-home care conditions for the next 12 months. The nanny cam system remains legally authorized under Clause 7A. Claire has been notified. No response yet. Attached is a forwarded copy of the message sent to Claire. We'll be keeping the nanny cam active. Per court's notice. Just below that, Perry added a caption. 2 words. Best interests. Because that's what this has always been about. Not revenge, not punishment, just a steady, unshakable reminder. You don't get to build a lie on the backs of children and walk away with the crown. Claire thought the courtroom was the end, but custody isn't a verdict. It's a lifetime of receipts, of eyes watching, quietly, patiently, and this time, the footage is still rolling.